AFIAPodcast by Javan Okelo, live from Seattle, Washington, USA.
Thank you so much for joining me for an amazing episode of the Daily African Proverbs. This is the African Father in America podcast. I haven't been live on YouTube or even live on Clubhouse in a month. It's exactly a month. Or even a little over a month in terms of, bringing to you, African wisdom and knowledge and just ideas that can help uplift you and also, bring conversations that allow us to learn from African proverbs. So since January 2001, I have been hosting, the African Father in America podcasts, especially the Daily African Proverbs that started on Clubhouse, which is a social audio app where we've been gathering with a number of people from all across the world and, taking African proverbs and learning something new from them. So today we are taking a journey to Ghana and we are going to learn something based on a Ghanaian proverb that I am about to share with you in just a moment. There are many things that people talk about, but there are a few things that sometimes people overlook in their conversations and even in people's actions. And one of those things is people forget that sometimes when you're too smart, when you're too smart, it becomes risky, and I want to explore today's conversation around the idea of it's dangerous to be too smart. But we are going to explore it through this Ghanaian proverb that says, knowledge is like a baobab tree. No one can encompass it. Knowledge is a baobab tree. No one can encompass it with their own hands. So think about that for a moment. And if you are on Clubhouse, thank you so much for joining me. If you are on YouTube, thank you so much for joining me over there. I highly encourage you to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't. I will be sharing that link on Clubhouse in just a moment so that those who are there can also join us on YouTube. And, I just want to say that I was saying earlier, it might sound strange, but trust me, there are very many risks when it comes to having a high IQ or thinking that you know it all, And I just want you to listen for a moment to some of the few things that, I wrote down when preparing for today's conversation. So these are some of the things that demonstrate that it's risky when you think that you know it all. And then, after I share these 6 things, I'm going to maybe speak a little more or invite all of you who are with me on Clubhouse to share your perspectives. But typically, the way that the Daily African Proverbs show is designed is that it's a conversation. These proverbs just ignite conversations that the hope is, they allow you to continue thinking over the next few days, over the next few months, and also sharing this knowledge. The Proverbs today says, knowledge is like a baobab tree. No one can encompass it with their own hands. And it's from Ghana. I'm going to pin it at the top of the room for those who are on Clubhouse. I'm just going to welcome you, Lavender, and I see that Monica, you're also here. Thank you so much for being here, and also Shepo Zindela, thank you so much for being here. I'll just invite you all on stage, and Lavender, thank you again. I see Danny Birungi, thank you for being here, my brother. So the first thing that we are learning from this Ghanaian proverb is that you may be smarter than the people around you, but that doesn't mean that they are not worth your time, I learned this personally by being a father. I spend a lot of time with my 3 daughters. The oldest is now 8, and I'm learning that I have to start having conversations with her as a friend and creating space for her to be in moments that typically I would be engaging with other adults who are not her age, so that she can start contributing her ideas, which I feel that are incredible. For example, this weekend I attended an African health advocacy creative session with her, and she was invited to be one of the youth change leaders here in Washington, where we are working with a select number of youths to create content to help with COVID related miscommunication and just issues that are going on in the African community. So for me, this experience with her is an example. Then the second thing that I would love for you to learn, as a risk of thinking that you're too smart or that you can do everything by yourself, is that don't be so quick to judge others. You may not know everything. A lot of us, once we've climbed the corporate ladder, once we've been successful in our art, in our business, in the community, we then become very judgmental of others, and we feel that nobody else has made it, we have made it, and so everybody else has to do it the way we want it, otherwise things are not okay. The third thing that I want you to consider is, this is related to what I just said. Don't be arrogant or think that you're better than everyone else. Those are very, very connected. And then number 4, be humble and learn as much as you can. I think this is something that I would really encourage you, if you're listening to today's conversation. There's so much knowledge that is being shared for free, especially in the age of social media, and I feel that you could learn so much for free if you're humble. But a lot of the time we go out there and we've already worn our judgment hat. We are already judging a lot of the information that we are receiving for free, and so I would really encourage you to consider that. Then number 5, don't get caught up in your own world. Stay connected to the people around you, and then finally, remember that there is more to life than intelligence. So those are some of our thoughts in preparation to today's conversation, and we are hoping that they are connected to what the ancestors were saying when they shared with us this proverb, that knowledge is like a baobab tree, no one can encompass it with their friends. You have to share what you know, otherwise it loses meaning. You have to teach someone else what you know, otherwise it loses meaning. So for me, I drew a lot of my lessons and how I dissect some of these proverbs through the lens of my experience with my children, my experience in the community that I live in here in Seattle, as well as back in Kenya, that I work very closely with a number of people in the community. So that's part of why I love African Proverbs, because I bring them into so many conversations and they enrich my life in very many different ways. And so that's part of why, after taking a month off from Clubhouse and just refreshing and working on other urgent things, I'm just excited to be back here with you all, and I can't wait to hear first how you are all doing. I want to pass the microphone to some of you who are on stage already, so that you share how you're doing, what your perspectives are on this proverb that we've been discussing, or the 6 thoughts that I just shared, and then we can build from there. Lavender, I wonder if you'd like to just say hi and also share your thoughts on this proverb briefly.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Simon, for inviting me. I'm Lavender Toya from Kenya. I'm based in Nairobi. My views about today's proverb. Before I share my views, I'd like to say this proverb is very powerful, and it gets you thinking. And besides your detailed explanation of what the proverb means, Simon, the dangers of being too smart are that sometimes you just face just because you're smart, you'd face a lot of negativity from people just because of the knowledge you have. And honestly, knowledge can be acquired. Knowledge is not something that people have naturally, but the hunger for it, the thirst for it, a lot of people read and study and do research and are always eager to learn. And there's not a shared passion for everybody. So as much as being smart is something of value, not many people would like to associate with you or see the value. That feel like you're showing off, or since they don't have the thirst to learn more, they diminish. They look at your age or your background or where you come from just to learn from you. And knowledge, I feel, is something you can acquire from everybody and everyone, not limiting to age, their financial capacity or capabilities, how much they've studied or how many degrees they have in their pockets. I think those are my thoughts about today's topic. Knowledge is like a baobab tree. Thank you, Simon. This is Lavender, and I'm done speaking.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I just loved your perspectives a lot. I want to welcome everyone who is joining us for today's show here in the African Father in America Club on Clubhouse, and also on my YouTube channel, AFIAPodcast by Javan Okelo. That's the name of the YouTube channel. But you can click the link at the top of the room if you're on Clubhouse and join us on YouTube right now. Leave a comment. I see that M Joel is already on YouTube, leaving some really amazing comments here. For example, she's saying that I love baobab trees, yet I haven't seen one in real life. At this point, I can only imagine. And then she says, thinking one is smarter is trading dark waters. And Joel, just 2 things to add to what you said. If you'd like to see baobab trees, talk to me, be nice to me, and I'll give you an idea of which countries you can go to where you can see baobab trees every day. For example, Malawi. I have a lot of friends in Malawi. I lived and worked there, and by Lake Malawi there are a lot of baobab trees. And then in South Africa, there are even more baobab trees there. And there's a drink that is very popular, I think mostly in Africa, but maybe it's becoming more popular in the diaspora too. It's called amarula. It's made from the fruit of the baobab tree. It's really, really good. Anyway, I'll stop giving you more suggestions. But really, to add to what you're saying in regards to this proverb, thinking one is smarter is trading dark waters. And I always have this thing in my mind that whenever I think things are going really well, that's when I become so cautious, because I know that things could go south, as they say, very fast. I want to invite Stella to also say hi. Lavender, I'm really, really grateful for your perspectives and your contributions today. I also want to invite you to, in just a moment, Lavender, speak about the Wednesday sessions in the Travel in Africa Club. So for now, we'll hear from Stella in regards to her thoughts on today's proverb, and then we'll come back to you, Lavender, to hear about the Travel in Africa group. If you're just joining us, welcome. We are back after about a month, and this was a much needed break. When you're doing this kind of shows online, you sometimes just need time to find yourself mentally, spiritually, and even physically. So thank you all for letting me disappear from the scene, and also thank you all for showing up the way you just did today. I would love to encourage you to ping in 1 to 5 people right now to join us for this conversation, and also join us tomorrow and Wednesday and Thursday and Friday. We will be here 5 days a week with this show at 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, the way we have always been. And then on Saturday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, please join us for the Africa Day planning. We are in the midst of pushing Africa Day. Last year we had a 24-hour marathon where we had over 10,000 people coming in and out of all these rooms that we were organizing on Clubhouse, virtual rooms. We had speakers from the former U.S. ambassador, former Africa Union U.S. ambassador, Africa Union ambassador to the U.S., Honorable Dr. Arikana Chiombori Kwao. People like this, you have to name them as appropriately as you can. So I had to make sure this naming was done right. She did us a huge favor by being the keynote speaker for Africa Day last year here on Clubhouse. We are planning another 24-hour marathon. We don't know who the keynote speaker is, but if you want to be involved, join us Saturday 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time in the Africa Day Club on Clubhouse. That's where all the planning is taking place. But message me if you want to learn more, or if you want to be a speaker or a volunteer for Africa Day. For now, I'll pass this microphone to you, Stella. Say hi, share with us where you're joining us from, and also how you're doing and what today's proverb means to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Simon. This is Stella Oiro from Kenya. I'm so excited that AFIAPodcast is back, and I'm so excited to be here as well. Today's proverb, which says, knowledge is like a baobab tree, and no one can encompass it with their hands. I want to relate it to this common saying that says, when you go to Rome, you do as the Romans. I think something like that. Yeah, because you could be having a great idea that you've really worked hard on, you've researched on it, you've learned so much on it, and you are planning to implement it in a given area, say a different community from yours, because you think it would really help in that area. So you go to that area, you try to tell them about your project, and it's you who understands it, but and the people over there would not understand it the way you understand it. So it would really require you to like share with them what you think, and how what you learned from whatever you've been researching, and how you want to do it in their area. But you see, if you go with that attitude of, I know more than you guys and I know this is going to help you, without really trying to incorporate into their culture, let's say, for example, it would fail. So you really have to find a way of implementing your plan by making sure that everyone understands whatever you've learned, at least at your level, so that whatever you've learned doesn't go into waste. Yeah, that's how I've been thinking about it. And
Wonderful stuff.
you really want to succeed in something, you have to, yes, you have to share it with the people you want to do it with, so that you don't fail. Otherwise, thank you very much, and I'm so happy this podcast is back. Thank you.
Yeah, Stella, I'm so happy that the African Father in America podcast is live streaming again, and I'm happy that we're able to bring these amazing African proverbs, and the work that you do is truly commendable. And without your support, without Lavender's support, and without the team, the One Vibe Africa and One Vibe Media team, I would not be able to pull this off by myself. So if you are joining us today, I highly recommend that you follow Lavender and Stella. They are part of the team that is making the work that we do at One Vibe Africa and also One Vibe Media possible. Stella and Lavender are both in Kenya, but different cities. And I am in Seattle, Washington. I am from Kenya originally as well. Now we want to go back here to the proverb from Ghana that we've been dissecting and learning from. So if you had Lavender's thoughts, if you had Stella's thoughts, they are based on a proverb from Ghana that is teaching us quite a few things, especially when it comes to thinking that you're too smart, when it comes to thinking that you've got life figured out and you don't need anybody else. This proverb is just teaching us about humility as well, about humility, that if you're humble, you'll be willing to learn and you'll be willing to also create community. It's teaching us about community, that if you understand how to build community, it doesn't matter where you are in the world, you can succeed in a lot of the things that you want to do, as long as you're humble, you're willing to learn. And then there are more specific takeaways that I'm going to share towards the end of our conversation. I shared them at the beginning. I shared the six risks of thinking that you are too smart, that you are smarter than everybody else. I just want to make sure that we create space for other voices. Brother Earth, I see that it's your Clubhouse anniversary. You've been on Clubhouse for over a year now. Congratulations. I would love to hear your voice. I would love to hear everyone's voice who has joined us on Clubhouse, if possible. It's really important to me because this is our first live programming after about a month of taking a well-deserved break. And so I would love to invite you, Royston, if you have a moment, come and say hi, introduce yourself, share with us what today's proverb from Ghana means to you, and also Ku, join us on the stage, and Shepo and Dunstan, and I see Monica join us on the stage as well, and Roger, I hope you're doing well. Roger has been a regular attendee of the Daily African Proverbs. So let's hear briefly from you, Royston. How are you doing? Where are you joining us from? And also, what does this proverb from Ghana mean to you? It says, knowledge is like a baobab tree. No one can encompass it. with their hands. And we've been taking this proverb and also using it to discuss the idea of, if you're too smart, it's dangerous. It's okay to be smart, and we've been discussing ways that it could be dangerous to be too smart and what you could do about it. So share with us your perspectives briefly.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you very well. Thank you so much.
Okay, yeah. My oh, let me just say Ashe as a greeting, also Akwaba. I live in Madison, Wisconsin, and I do a lot of research in Ghana, and so that is kind of my entry point for African proverbs. And I have written about it a little bit. You can look me up, Royston. And yeah, I'm just happy that this program is happening on Clubhouse. It's a really fascinating program. I've listened to on and off for a few months. I'm so happy that it's happening. And, I think we need more knowledge, than less knowledge. Of course, too much information without a lot of digestion of that information can be a problem. And, and I think this proverb in my own life reflects a lot of things that are happening for me at this moment. um, I work with a lot of people to do different research and also to move as a family. And sometimes, there's a Nigerian proverb, if you want to go fast, you go alone. If you want to do it well, you move with people. And so to me, these two proverbs can be paired for, an approach to education, approach to learning, an approach to business or enterprise. And thank you for bringing this to us today. It's very timely for me. Thank you.
Oh, you're most welcome. Thank you for being here with us today. I just appreciate your response, and also I appreciate the work that you're doing, with the continent and with Ghana. And I want to invite you for Africa Day. It's on May 25th, Wednesday. It's going to be a 24-hour marathon here on Clubhouse. So if you're interested, send me a DM. I'll be able to send you the sign-up form so that you can, choose whether you want to be a speaker, volunteer, or just an attendee. But the event is already scheduled here on Clubhouse. And if you follow Africa Day Club, you will be able to see it's one of the events there. But every Saturday at 9 a.m. PST, we also have a planning session in the Africa Day Club. We produce one of the biggest Africa Day celebrations in the world, really, but virtually. So, everyone here feel welcome. Royston, did you have something else to add?
No, thank you very much. I'd love to attend.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Send me a DM and I'll be able to, share with you more details. Instagram is a good way for me to respond faster. So that's for anyone else who is interested in Africa Day. I'll be able to send you the link there. Now I want to just welcome everyone who is just joining us. This is the African Father in America Club. Make sure you subscribe to the African Father in America podcast across all podcasting platforms, including YouTube, where we are live streaming right now. So again, if you've already subscribed, thank you so much. Now we want to come to you, Danstan. Danstan, share with us your perspectives on this Ghanaian proverb, and also your own perspectives about the dangers of thinking that you're better than everyone else, or you're just too smart, and you can even encompass a baobab tree by yourself, but share with us where you're coming from as well. Where are you joining us from physically in this moment? Thank you so much.
Greetings. My name is Danston Kaunda, and I'm joining here from Seattle, Washington. And currently, a hobby that I enjoy, as well like what I do, is I practice African Kemetic yoga and as well Kundalini yoga. And something that came up for me hearing about the proverb about a person or, a multi of individuals thinking that they are too smart or have all this information. What it does, I would say, of having like a lot of information or a person believing that, they just like are not humble, it may cripple an individual to where then they stop learning, to where when um, someone's trying to give them more information, or maybe they say are lacking in some areas where they could be receiving information, that's where it could cripple them from taking in more information from like other individuals, maybe even like people that are younger than them that could provide them with some wisdom, or even as well individuals that are older than that individual, which can provide more wisdom to this encompassing of knowledge and like what it means to be wise and as well knowledge, so have that particular sense of knowledge. And yeah, I would say a bit of crippling, but yeah, there is a bit of like, even in like my current stage in life, I'd say I'm slowing down on like the information that, like the categories of information. I'm currently trying to slow down just like what I'm bringing in, but mainly focusing on how I can really cultivate and really digest the information that I'm receiving, and as well be open to other forms of learning and as well like receiving information from other people. But that's all I have to share. Thank you.
Thank you, Dunstan. That's amazing. I am also in Seattle, Washington. So we have followed you. I've followed you on Clubhouse. Please send me a DM on Instagram at Okelo Javan so that I can connect with you directly. I loved your contribution as well. I love what you're doing, African Kemetic Yoga. Could you just share with us a little bit about that briefly? I just want everyone to learn what it is. I want to learn what it is, because this proverb is about that. This proverb is about, this proverb and our entire conversation, if you're just joining us today, is about, knowledge, learning new things and being humble, being willing to learn and not thinking that you're the smartest person in the room, So Dunstan, just briefly, African Kemetic Yoga.
African Kemetic yoga is a yoga based on the philosophies and sciences of ancient Egypt. And the word Kemet means black, but as well, it's another name for Egypt. And as well, African Kemetic yoga focuses on primarily harmonizing the body with the environment, with practically the world. And it focuses on tongue connection, rule of four breathing, and geometrical progression. And the key of the practice is really to be able to self-identify, to be able to show up in the world and be one's own like divine being, like not pretty much regurgitating information or ways of being or ways of thought from other people, but really to self-identify. That's what the practice is about. And as well, it's a way to move energy and chi and shu in the Kemetic understanding of energy. And it's a way of life. It's a way to revitalize the body. It's a way to clear the mind. It's a way to connect the mind and body together. It's something that I started and was certified in 3 years ago by Baba Rahotep, and as well, he resides in Chicago, and he was the one who pretty much created and did the research and brought the practice together from his mentor. And yeah, and a lot of the postures in African Kemetic yoga are seen on the hieroglyphs on the ancient walls in Egypt. And I recently, in March, went to Egypt for my first time. And I was there for 2 weeks, and I went there for another African Comedic Yoga certification and seen a lot of the postures and learned a bit of the more of the history as well. Being there, seeing all the amazing buildings and universities that these places were held for study. And sorry if you can't hear me. There's an airplane flying over me, but that is a bit on African Comedic Yoga.
Wow, thank you very much. I'm just so happy to connect with you, and I would love to connect with you in person. I would love to do some African Kemetic yoga myself, and learn more, So thank you for being here. I want to go on to Meram. Before I come to you, Meram, I want to welcome the networker, Cornelia, who is with us in the room, and Kenny, and Brother, and Roger, and Ku, and Bali, and also on the stage, we have Lavender and Stella who have contributed, as well as Roy Stone and Dunstan. Thank you all for your amazing contributions. If you're going to watch this later on YouTube, we're having an amazing conversation, and we are talking about the dangers of being too smart. So if you're just joining us, I would encourage you to begin from the beginning of this session and watch until the end, because at the beginning I share 6 dangers to being too smart. And these 6 dangers to being too smart are based on a Ghanaian proverb that says, knowledge is like a baobab tree. No one encompasses it all with their hands. You can't encompass it with your hands or by yourself. You have to get other people to hold your hands, and you make a big circle until eventually you're able to surround the baobab tree. So, Meram, share with us where you're joining us from and what today's proverb means to you. Thank you so much.
Hi, do you remember me, Kandaka? We did a YouTube
I
thing
do.
together.
You just changed your name, and I do remember you. When you start speaking, I click. I get it. How are you doing?
Thank you. Thank you. So that time I was talking about Kemetic yoga. I put up a picture of Nubian warriors in Sudan, in Nuba Mountain. Annually, they do wrestling tournaments, and you can see the pictures beneath them. A lot of them are in the, in those temples. The strategies that they use, these positions that they use. I think what's it called? It's linked to like judo.
Right. I do.
I did judo myself personally, and it's like judo. The techniques we use, I swear, that a lot of them are incorporated in judo. Sorry. So yeah, I put a picture of Nubian warriors, like modern day Nubian warriors. This is like every year they gather, or a few times a year. It's quite a big popular part of our culture. These tournaments, it's a staple part of Nubian culture in Nuba Mountain and other regions. But moving on from that, and I think it's the Kemetic ancient science, like I said, of wrestling. It's fun as well for people, honestly. It's fun for them to come and watch. I think some people bid as well and whatever on who they think, the champion is going to be, whatever, to be won. So it's kind of like gladiator championships, but more organized. Moving on from that, I looked up about the Baobab tree. I honestly don't know much. I've heard about it, don't know anything. I looked up that it blooms when that your eye cannot catch it. So I think that's what it might mean, that it's something that you can't see or hold with your hands, but it's something that spiritually you can obtain. I think that's what it means. You can obtain it consciously, spiritually, if you connect with the forces in the universe, but it's not something that we can see with the eye, if you know what I mean. It's just like with the baobab tree, when the flower blooms, it's so quick that even your eyes don't catch it. I don't know. That's what I think personally. I'm not sure.
Wonderful. Yeah. I love your perspectives.
Yeah.
And I heard that trees are actually living things. They communicate with
They're
each
living.
other.
Mountains are as well. Sorry, but go on.
No, you
The
go
earth
on.
is a living thing. We talk to the earth. Like, I'll give you a story. This is gonna sound so silly. Even people are laughing at me. But one time in the mountain, the mountain is living, it's living, okay? But they said one time a man came, okay? He came to, because in Nuba Mountain, there's a lot of gold, okay? It's a rich area where we've heard stories that people can just find chunks of gold, go sell it, and you have your 1 month salary to keep you going, you know? You don't have to do anything for the next month. One man went looking for gold, and I don't think he was native from the area. And they said the land was protected, okay? The land is sacred, that sometimes they say it can swallow you. If you go to places that is not trying to dig where it doesn't belong to you. So he went up to the mountain, put his hand inside the mountain, and then spiritually his hand was locked, okay? The village all came to try and help him get out of the mountain. And basically no one could do anything. So they said, let's bring the sorcerer. So the sorcerer came, the mountain sorcerer. He came in a horse. And then he said, go get me a freaking, go get me a lamb, he said to them. And then so the people that were around, they didn't have lamb, but they went and found one out of nowhere, from my understanding. They went and found that lamb from wherever they could. A lot of them don't herd lambs, okay? They herd cows. So they went and found the lamb, whatever. They said the priest put it high up in the mountain. He's a priest as well, this sorcerer. He put it high up in the mountain as an offering to the mountain. He said the mountain, it needed an offering. It wanted a sacrifice that day, okay? And his hand, so that guy, he could have died there, be consumed by the mountain when it grabbed his hand. When the guy put the sorcerer, he put the lamb up in the mountain, immediately the guy was able to be freed. He free. There's another story. They said one time the mountain was crying. They could see, like, literally its tears pouring down. So the sorcerer said, okay, there's not going to be a good crops this season. The season is not going to be good unless we feed the mountain. We have to feed it. So they fed it water. They fed it, from outside. They fed it water. They fed it alcohol. I mean, it sounds crazy, but they did all these rituals trying to speak to the earth, for it to grow. And I wanted to say also, this is part of every year. Every year, people, like Nilotic customs, we call it Kajur, but Kajuri people, every year in these regions in West Sudan, in Nuba, and in South Sudan, every year the sorcerers, what they do a few times a year, before the rain season, they go up to the mountain, they get their alcohol, they get their water, and they feed the mountain, speak to the plants. They do rituals with fire, with water. The whole village gathers, they sing to it, they sing to the mountain, they speak to the ancestors, to the gods, to make it rain. And then, and they believe that's how they've maintained like a very good system of a lot of rain. I mean, we have the Nile, but we have a lot of rain annually in these regions. And then also before, so same thing, you must go up to the mountain. They do their rituals, bring their water, bring their alcohol. I don't know what the secret is, but we like to feed the ancestors, pour the libations of alcohol, coffee, everything. So it's a science, it's an ancient science, and we still use it today. But we must communicate, do these rituals for it to grow. And they say if you don't take care of it, it won't grow. The land won't grow. And they have stories like why it's become a desert in the north, because they burnt a lot of people that lived there. They say, that land is now it's cursed because they burned who lived there, took their land. It won't grow the same way. You feel me? And that's an ideology why we think a lot of like the Northern Territory, there's a lot of blood behind it in Sudan. Why it's dried up, become a desert. These places 2,000 years ago, 1,000 years, were not a desert climate. You feel me? They were actually very agricultural places. And where you see the Nubian people now, the Nilotic people where they fled, those are the agricultural places.
Yeah.
The places that have been colonized are very dry, deserted places. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel you completely. I think it's very, very refreshing knowledge and nuggets of wisdom that you're sharing there with us. So I truly, truly appreciate it. There's so much to unpack in everything you shared with us. And I can see in the comments on YouTube, MJL is saying that part of what you are saying relates to the Yoruba, and it's like an Akan story from Ghana, I think. And then, this is also very much related to, many Kenyan stories when it comes to, the power of the mountain and the lakes. We have, we have tribes that used to worship the lake and the mountains and things like that. anyhow, this is such a fascinating topic. If you are interested, madam, follow the Africa Day Club and join us for Africa Day. We will be having a 2-hour session with African spiritual leaders from across the world, where we will be talking about African spirituality as part of Africa Day here on Clubhouse.
My grandmother is a spiritual leader, by the way, so that's why I know some. But go ahead.
Okay, very nice, very nice. Where is your grandmother located?
So I have a few grandmothers, not one.
Okay.
Blue Nile and Darfur. So we have spiritual leaders from Blue Nile and Darfur.
Very nice.
We have men as well that are spiritual leaders.
Very nice.
From my dad's side of the
Very nice. Well, I'll send you the Africa Day sign up, and then you can sign up and share with us a little more there. Then we can connect you with the people who are curating that segment for Africa Day on May 25th. It's a 24-hour marathon. We did it last year. We are doing it again this year. So thank you, Madam, for your amazing contribution. Fred, no worries. Fred, it's been a minute. It's been a few weeks. How are you? I saw a comment from you earlier on YouTube, but I just want to hear your voice, where you're joining us from, and your perspectives on today's proverb from Ghana.
Hi, Simon. It has been a while. Welcome back. Glad to be part of today's conversation. And greetings to everybody.
Hi, Fred. You seem to be a little farther. Come closer to your mic, please. Greetings to you.
Can you hear me clear now?
Yeah, it's a little better.
All right. I started by saying hi and telling you welcome back from your break and expressing the gratitude of being part of the conversation today. I think today's proverb is quite interesting. The comparison of knowledge to a baobab tree makes it all the more interesting, because if you know the baobab tree, the way it is, its structure kind of reminds me of the availability of knowledge. There's so much baobab tree and where baobab trees grow, and so much available knowledge where knowledge is supposed to be. But if you know how to get to the fruit of the baobab tree and you break it open, that is when you can get the food. And you can use it in different ways. When you can prepare the milk, and you can prepare food and all that. So knowledge is always available, but the application of the knowledge is what we now call wisdom. And when you look at the structure of the baobab tree, it reminds me of another proverb that says, as above and so below. And when you relate that to knowledge, the knowledge that you gain from within you can be applicable to the reality that you create outside you. If you do not know how to sieve through all the applicable knowledge, that is when you think that you know it all. Because there is no way you can know it all or be knowledgeable and be arrogant. And lastly, when you go to where the baobab tree grows, it's not just the baobab tree that is always there. There are different creatures that take refuge in the baobab tree. You have birds, you have tired farmers, you have so many other things, right? And that is how knowledge also can serve as a refuge. But the last outstanding thing about the comparison of knowledge as a baobab tree is its resistance through all seasons. And that is related to indigenous knowledge also. For me, that's what I see. It's that resistance, that power to survive throughout everything that has happened, and just still there waiting for us to access it and implement it to our lives. So that is a few things that I pick up from the proverb. I'm glad to be able to share it with everybody. Thanks.
Wow. Thank you so much. I loved, how you shared that, what you cultivate inside is also what you can cultivate in the real world, what you can make happen in the real world, that they are comparable. I loved that. And I also hope that everybody else in the room picked something that you learned from what our brother Fred shared there with us. We have about 9 minutes to end our conversation today. This is a 1-hour session that begins at 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time and ends at 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And the idea is to, maintain that 1 hour time frame, because this is a podcast. We are recording it for the African Father in America podcast, which is available across all podcasting platforms, but also so that we can do this from Monday to Friday. It's a marathon, it's not a sprint. So as we are getting closer, I just invited Nadia to join us on the stage. Nadia, thank you so much for being here. We have been discussing an African proverb and learning something new from it. The proverb that we are discussing today is from Ghana, and it says, knowledge is like a baobab tree. No one can encompass it with their hands. No one can hug a baobab tree by themselves. They have to, ask for other people to hold their hands so that they can surround the baobab tree. And we were relating this to the idea of the dangers of being too smart, the dangers of thinking that you know it all and you're the smartest person in the room. We learned 6 nuggets that I'm going to share, but everyone contributed different, ideas and different stories. So if you have a story, if you have any comment, I want to give you the chance. Share with us where you are joining us from and what this proverb means to you.
Thank you so much, Simon, for giving me this chance. It's sad that I wasn't with you since the beginning of this very stimulus room. And I do agree very much that knowledge should be shared and should be built up together with all the nation and the population and the world. So that's what knowledge is about. It's a sharing experience, a build-up experience. But thank you so much, and I'm so honored and so happy to have joined you. Not lucky, as I said, to come, at the end of the room, but we'll be around in the future. Thank you so much, and love to everybody. Take care.
Thank you so much. It's definitely wonderful to hear from you, hear your voice. I followed you here on Clubhouse. Let's connect. Let's stay connected. Send me a DM on my Instagram. I would love to invite you to Africa Day. I'm producing Africa Day with the help of a big community of people here on Clubhouse. We did it last year for 24 hours, and we're doing it again this year. And I'm looking for amazing individuals like you who can be a part of it.
Thank you so much. And you've asked me where I come from. I come from Sudan.
Oh, fantastic.
The one Sudan. It will be one Sudan. Oh, thank you so much. Who did this to Zagharuta?
Me.
Mariam, you know how to do
Let me do it properly.
You guys are joking. We have that in Kenya too.
That's an amazing one, Mariam.
Maybe Stella or Lavender can show you too.
So I want to tell you where this comes from. It's gonna sound crazy. Like in West Sudan, we say when Eve first met Adam, he was playing the drum, and she made this sound while she was singing to him. And we make this in the weddings. Unique, not everyone, but a lot of tribes have their own unique. But they have their own unique twang. Even Indians do it. But from what I understand, even during war, people make this. It's a cry for war and a cry for celebration.
Absolutely true, Mariam. And we do it exactly the same. I thought
the way I just did it.
Yes. Hey, you.
Sudan. No, I'm from.
You're from Sudan. All right. Okay. So
I'm from Sudan, from Darfur and Blue Nile.
Ahlan, Mariam.
Ahlan.
Thank you so much, everybody, stage and audience, and Eid Mubarak. Kulo sana, everybody is good, and we hope Africa is the, the richest continent. So we hope that we get solidly together and make this continent the best in the world, and we will do that. Thanks, Simon.
Thank you so much, Alan. What does Alan mean?
What does ahlan?
Yes.
It means how are you, like in Arabic.
Yeah.
Or greeting. No, it means greetings.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Like, hello or welcome, or yeah, it's a greeting, as Miriam said.
Fantastic. Well, this has been an amazing session of the African Father in America podcast, and also this is really a village. If you've been listening to the last few minutes of our time together, the conversation between Meram and Nadia just took us all the way to Sudan, to your villages, to your ancestors, to our ancestors. If Lavender and Stella would do, we call it, what do we call it? What do we call it in Luo, Stella and Lavender? I want to hear what you guys say.
In Luo, we call it Gosiboy.
Yeah.
I think so. Stella, you can correct me, Stella. but
Yeah,
in
I think
Luo,
I agree with Lavender. I agree.
Okay. But in Luo, we do it that.
No,
Yeah, that is the Luo version, and when you hear, the elders do it, especially the elderly women do it. It's moving, it anyway. So maybe
they do something similar to what this Lavender did as well, because we have Lua people in Sudan, right?
Yes.
We have the Lua tribe, so we
Yes.
have it as a big ethnic group of many people, Nilotic people, and yeah, region to region, they do that. They do that when even during wrestling tournaments or during weddings. They do that 100% as well. I've heard them do it, especially in Nuba Mountain.
That's fantastic.
I think you're right, Miriam. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, we've heard it. We've all heard it. But we have different like noises, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I love it. Anyhow, this has been refreshing, and MJ on YouTube is saying that, we are back like we never left, and really I feel like we never left at all. This is our first live event since, early April, when we took a break just to, rejuvenate and continue bringing you this amazing daily African Proverbs show. And tomorrow we are going to be here, and Wednesday and Thursday and Friday. Remember, Saturday 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, we are in the Africa Day Club, also on Clubhouse, planning for Africa Day this year on May 25th. With that, I just want to repeat the 6 takeaways from our conversation today. The 6 the 6 dangers of being too smart, of thinking that you're the best in the room all the time, of thinking that you're better than everyone. Number 1, you may be smarter than the people around you, but that doesn't mean that they are not worth your time. Number 2, don't be so quick to judge others. You may not know everything. Number 3, don't be arrogant or think that you're better than everyone else. And number 4, be humble and learn as much as you can. Number 5, don't get caught up in your own world. Stay connected to the people around you. And then finally, remember that there is more life than intelligence. there's gardening, there's other things, that this life has to offer than just being smart. So join us tomorrow again, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We are, live on YouTube as we speak, and we are here on Clubhouse. Follow the African Father in America Club. And remember, Wednesdays, we are doing the poetry themed Daily African Proverbs, where we will have Chioma Sheri, and she will share with us a poem, and she will turn the proverb that we are discussing into a poem. And then Thursdays, we are hosting Gogo Rutendo Ngara, an amazing spiritual leader from South Africa, originally from Zimbabwe. From next week, you'll see more guests on Mondays and Tuesdays, and also on Fridays. So thank you again for being here. This marks the end of our time together today. See you all tomorrow at the same time. Peace and love.
African Father in America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. African Father in America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. You are listening to African Father in America podcast by Javan Okelo, live from Seattle, Washington.